the controller syndicate, the codex, the controller codex. You know, there's a theme here, and it's all about being a controller. You've either already gone through the entire controller codex, the controller syndicate email series, or you're going through it currently, depending upon when you're viewing this video. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter because this is going to give you context as you're going through it, or if you finished it. If you didn't finish it, if you didn't read all the pages, read all the emails, shame on you because you're missing out on a great transformation. Let me give you a little background on where I came up with this concept. And I've always wanted to do and teach through the power of the narrative, create a storyline that is parallel to the truth in the sense that I've experienced everything that I go through in the controller syndicate. I've met different individuals that have taught me, may not have been exactly the way it is. I may share some of those details as we go through this, but the fact of the matter is that all of that happened to me. Now, it may not have happened in Indonesia or Tokyo or Russia. However, I trained with Indonesian masters, I trained with Russian masters, trained with Japanese masters. So I may not have gone to those countries as in the series, but I wanted it. And if you're going through it right now, some of you may say, "Oh, this is kind of silly," but I want you to understand why I did it this way. Number one, it hopefully it's a narrative that you're reading and you're going, "This is pretty interesting. Let me see what happens next." Some of you are going to read it and go, "This sounds almost too much." But the fact of the matter is, I've experienced a lot of those things and more over the 30 years or more. It's actually over 30 years that I've been studying esoteric training. I've been studying the energy, hypnotic influence, but I've also been teaching people, through my consulting business, sales and marketing, business uh, training, sales and marketing. And so when I coach somebody, I can coach them really from a mentoring standpoint, which is something I've done, or I could coach them from a coaching standpoint based on the business that they have, which is kind of unique. So I wanted something that was going to be unique, and I think it is. I think you're going to get a great deal of value from it. And I came up with this concept, right? Is that what would happen if I ran into this mysterious woman one day in an elevator and she prompted me to learn these certain things? Now, obviously, I did it in a different way, but I wanted to create this storyline. And it all lines up with the three tectonic shifts: the mindset, the vitality, and the prosperity. It all lines up with the C3 power shift coaching program that I offer. C3 is command control core. And as you can see, as you go through the web pages, I wanted it to be in a lighthearted type of situation, kind of almost cartoonish, maybe a little bit noir, but there's nuggets on every single page. Every email has value, as if I was coaching you. And if you've gone through any of my training, you know that I over deliver. At least I believe that I do, and feedback that I get is that I'm over delivering because I'm giving you a lot of information. Now, that's good and bad because sometimes it's overkill, but I really want you to be over skilled, not overkill. And so I designed these graphics to somewhat look like me as I'm going through this. But as you go through the entire situation, you're learning, are you a controller or a reactor? That one sentence that's in that image. And these images are extremely intentional. Working with energy, working with hypnotic influence, I'm very intentional. I don't ever do anything that doesn't have a purpose. Everything has an underbelly to it. As you can see, there are your controller reactor. It's somewhat of a subliminal suggestion, as is the mindset, vitality, prosperity that you see on the table there. Everything's done by design, even the time on the clock. And so the whole idea is that if you want to become a high performance man or woman, maybe you already are. I always say you go from zero to hero or hero to superhero. I put together the controller codex, and you got one level of it on the first page, right? The controller, and you're learning the controller archetype, tectonic shift protocols. And again, we continue to bring up this concept: mindset, vitality, prosperity. They're the three tectonic shifts. These three shifts, if you don't have them in alignment, and if you don't have them in the right order based on your life, not mine, you're not in proper harmony. Now, that's not to say that in some times of your life that you have to have them out of balance as you're reaching for certain goals. Mindset, vitality, prosperity. You'll have to deal with it. I work with a lot of people that have prosperity. They earn a lot of money, but a lot of times they're emotionally a wreck, or their mindset, their deservingness, the relationships. They may be vitality, low energy, overweight, not in great shape, and that is a result of being out of balance. And so as I go through this process, I want you to really read into it, right? What would happen if I could achieve this level of integration in my own life? That's asking you the question. What would change if I could teach this systematic approach to my coaching clients? That's me speaking to you, but I want you to think of that from yourself, from your business, your position, your profession. Who was that woman, and how did she know I was ready for this information? So again, the manual that changes everything. This is just one bit of information. Download the controller codex, and you can immediately begin to read it. But I want to go into the expanded edition of the controller codex, and we'll be going back and forth between the codex and the storyline, because the storyline's pretty unique. I never met a woman, but I've met strange people through my times that enabled me to get to that next level of understanding. But you're going to get a copy of this. You could probably find it on this page, I would imagine. Of course, I'm recording this, and I'm assuming that either there's going to be a box you fill out to get a copy of it, or it's a direct download, whatever I decide to do at the time. But you're going to notice the table of contents here. Definition of a true controller, 3 controller archetypes, the tectonic shift mastery framework, the controller response system, advanced integration protocols, daily calibration and command sequences, crisis response and opportunity conversion, and the path to controller sentience. Now, why do I do this? I do this because my business is, I have a publishing company. I publish books and courses. You probably wouldn't be watching this if you didn't already engage with me either in some way or another. And then I coach and mentor individuals, companies. And so I love to give to you so that you can get a breakthrough. But I know the way energy works, and I know that the way the world works is that when I give, I will receive. And so the more I give to you, the more I'm going to get back from the universe, whether that is today or tomorrow or the next day or next week. It all works in perfect coordination. And that's what I want you to understand as you go through this, right? Because we're going to talk about the definition of a controller. Now, a controller is not somebody that's controlling others, it's controlling of self. Now, obviously, it's a double-edged sword. If you can control yourself, you can control others. Obviously, I wrote the book Manipulation: The Master Secrets of Covert Persuasion and Hypnotic Influence. If you don't have a copy of that, get it. Actually, get all of my hypnotic influence training. You'll love it. if that's something you want to learn, if you want to become a true controller, it's there. It's there for you. So here's the thing is that that's the first part of the codex. And I continue the storyline by going into this mysterious coffee shop. And this woman hands me this special document that is the mindset shift, the Codex protocols. And these are the patterns that I've been looking for, but it's really patterns you're looking for, your hidden block assessment. So on day one, you're going to get, or you've already gotten, the controller codex. It's extremely valuable. Here's the challenge is because I give this away for free, sometimes people look at it as a throwaway. You can't do that. You got to imagine that you spent $10,000 to go through this 21-day email system. Because when you place a value, whether it's imaginary or not, it's a value. Years ago, I read a book by Tom Hopkins, and he talked about you always have to have go to town money, either in your actual bank or in your mind. Now, what go to town money is it's that amount of money, whatever that is, either in a bank or in your mind, that allows you to always act as the controller. Because you've got go to town money. You don't need any deal. You don't need any person. You don't need anything because you are the controller. And that's what I'm getting across in this entire process. And I'm taking you through my evolution, if you will, through it, through the narrative, through the storyline. And you have the controller codex, and then I've also added this special codex that you can get that is an AI GPT and reveal the number one block that's slowing me down. And you can go through this process totally free and start to evaluate yourself and really, maybe for the first time in your life, get to the truth of the matter. And most people don't want to get to the truth of the matter because it's not easy, right? So as I'm going through this process, I want you to embrace it. I want you to take a look at it, like I said, as something that is really valuable. Now, you'll notice that I will do 3 web pages, and then I have a summary email that goes through the last couple days that really hones in on the concepts, because I really want you to get the concepts down. I want you to understand it. I want you to embrace the concept. I want you to embrace the concept the entire time, right? So the $47 million lesson, this is based on a real story. But the names have been changed to protect the innocent, right? But it's the prosperity consciousness revelation. Money isn't the game, energy is. I've been saying this for years. That when you get your energy to a specific level, you can create money. Energy creates money. Money doesn't create energy. I can promise you that. Every financial decision you make is an energy decision. Every investment choice reflects your internal state. Every money problem is actually a consciousness problem. I want you to take those words and internalize them, because they're as real today as they were when they were written, and they're as real today as they will be tomorrow when I'm gone and you're gone. It's still a reality. And I go into methods and concepts that should allow you to embrace these concepts and start to find for yourself what's working for you. Because again, this is for you. This is a custom-made suit for you. And I'm giving you the suit, but you still got to get it tailored. After 20 years of studying financial behavior. I've identified three distinct response patterns when people are faced with financial pressure. See if you fit in one of these. Now, you've probably already gone through this, but I wanted to go through it with everyone, with you personally. Reactor, they panic, they sell, they make emotional decisions, chase opportunities based on fear or greed that there's not enough money. It's a lack mentality. There's pushers, they work harder, but not smarter. They're grinders. They grind without strategy, force outcomes through effort alone. And then you have your controllers. That's where you want to be. Transform market volatility into systematic opportunity. You make strategic pivots during chaos. You generate wealth through aligned action. You know, when economy is bad, that's where controllers make the most money. In 2009, I I I exited a real estate magazine that I was publishing, and I went into my consulting and my book publishing and course publishing business, and I did better those years than I'd ever done before, and that was during the worst financial times in the last 20 years. So I use this metaphor, the money energy connection, and I use this guy Marcus, who is modeled after somebody that I have mentored with over the years when I was much younger. And some of the things he taught me are exactly this. Of course, I've reframed it over all those years based on my study of the energy. But it's just what I'm saying here, the prosperity programming protocol. And again, if you just glanced and glazed over these pages and you saw the images and you said, "Oh, this is kind of cartoonish," you're missing the point. The point is you should be engaged and look deeper what's there and make sense of how it could benefit you. Because everything that I'm teaching, everything, all the time, is with intention. Now, if you don't have a copy of the Instant Mind Force book, you probably do. But if you don't, you can get access to it. It's totally revised, totally updated. And the six powerful laws of the mind, the six Mind Force laws, those six laws are laws. You're using them right now, whether you know it or not, either positively or negatively. And just by reading the book, you're going to get an understanding of how they work in your life. Not to mention that, all the other information, three tectonic shifts, and all of the different concepts that I teach you. The block technique that I teach in the book is worth the entire book because it'll save you a lot of aggravation over the years. But that is what I encourage you to do. Get a copy of that. I mean, I'm not going to say the price because it could go up or it could go down. But if you click on the link, you could get a copy of it. I mean, it's not something that's going to break the bank. That's for sure. But I want you to understand that these tools are there for you. These tools are designed for you to get the results that you want to get. That's really what it's all about, is getting you the results. And so I've put it in this narrative form, which will enable you to do it. Right? The Mind Force Academy revealed. Now, again, this is a fictitious syndicate training system, but I want you to understand that these syndicates are real. And you will find them, well, you might not find them because they're secret. You've heard of closed door, you've heard of secret societies. Well, there are. And I've been a part of some of them. So I know the inner workings. I know the closed door training. Much of my training was closed door, where the instructor said you can't teach this certain techniques to just anybody. It's just the way it is. You can't do it, or else we'll come find you. And they're serious. These are serious men and women. And so I want you to understand that there are certain things that you'll learn. And when I coach you, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to hand it down to you once you become a student or client of mine that's trusted. I can teach you things that will blow your mind, but I'll only do a lot of those things when we're face to face or when we're over the phone and I understand that you're a trustworthy type of person. Now, I know that sounds a little strange, right? Oh, yeah, sure. But it is what it is. You either believe it or you don't. And I don't, doesn't matter to me if you believe it or not. It's real. And you can look around and see that that's true. So you'll get access to the Power Surge. Now, I'm going to be updating the Power Surge, so you'll get a new version of that. But that version is fantastic. I talk a lot about about how you can overcome some of the situations that you're already going through based on those three tectonic shifts. Because everyone, not everyone, let's put it this way: I've coached hundreds of people personally, maybe even thousands. When you take an example of all the group coaching and everything that I've done and over the years, over 25 years, and I will tell you this: very, very, very few people have all three tectonic shifts in working order. I've met so many women that prosperity attorneys, business executives, entrepreneurs that are killing it financially. They're in phenomenal shape. They go to the gym 6 days a week. They look like models and they look beautiful. And yet, a lot of them have ugly duckling syndrome. A lot of them have awareness of self where they don't have a self-worth that's really up to standards where when you've looked at them, you go, wow, this is an amazing looking person. And emotionally, they have issues. They can't find great relationships, even though on paper, or if you saw them drive up in their Mercedes Benz and they get out and they look sexy and beautiful, but they really have an inferiority complex. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is bigger than you ever could imagine. And many of you may have imposter syndrome where you're doing well, but you're thinking to yourself, do I really deserve this? Met a young man not that long ago, did some coaching sessions with him. He's earning a good income. I'm not going to say his name so I can tell you how much he is, about $750,000 a year. And his self-image of himself is really imposter. He really feels like, man, I just got lucky. I don't know if I really deserve this. Is it going to all collapse one day when they find out who I really am? That I'm not really who they think I am based on the work that I do. But he does phenomenal work. Does phenomenal work. And yet, in his mind, he's got that self-image that needs to be adjusted. So again, these tectonic shifts are so important. They're so important. And that's why I want you to embrace this concept. The Christopher Reeve question, which you'll find, I believe this is day 5, is the Christopher Reeve, he's a Superman. He got paralyzed. But he says that the real tragedy isn't being physically paralyzed. It's when people are physically able to do anything they want, but they remain mentally paralyzed. Is that you? You've got your physical body and yet you're mentally paralyzed. You can't move off of where you're at. Now, a lot of times to move off, you could do it yourself. I mean, obviously, I'm giving you all the tools that you need. But in some cases, maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need a mentor. Maybe you need somebody to structure it. I mean, let's face it, when an actor in Hollywood wants to get in great shape, they usually don't leave it to chance. They hire, number one, an acting coach. Number two, they hire a fitness coach, a health coach, a food coach, a dietitian. They hire a cook and a chef to cook them the meals to get them into the shape that they need to be for that particular movie. The three tectonic shifts. You'll learn more about those in the Power Surge. You'll be learning about them as we go through the whole process because that's really what it's about. So we want to go through that definition of a controller. There's 3 controller archetypes. Characteristics, financial, right? We already talked about this. Panic during market volatility, make emotional money decisions, emotional collapse under pressure, blame external circumstances, victim mentality, physical, abandon health practices when stressed, use limitations as excuses, energy depletion cycles. You see, life happens to them. They survive, but they're not in control. We talked about the pushers. And you can go through all of these because I really want to focus on the controllers. And you can read through this. Is a controller, they transform market volatility into systematic opportunity. I'm coming out with a new book, Immersion 2.0. I may change it. You know, the first version was good, but this one is going to blow it away because I always learn from everything that I do and then I make it better. You should do the same thing. See, I'm always learning. I'm not looking to say, "Oh, I'm the best of the best. I'm good. I'm great, but I can always get better." Right? Strategic pivots during chaos. Wealth generation through aligned action. See, when you read something like that, you have to internalize it and say, I transform market volatility into systematic opportunity because I use strategic pivots, even during chaos. I use wealth generation through aligned action, and this allows me to get the desires that I want. You see how I phrased that into a powerful statement for the subconscious mind. By the way, get the 6 powerful laws of the mind. You'll learn about the 3 different minds, how to use them. It's the tip of the iceberg, but you will get it. Emotional process challenges as growth catalysts. We all have challenges, and a challenge is really just a situation that happens that allows for growth. Maintain perspective under pressure, emotional sovereignty. And again, you can work that into an affirmation as well. I process challenges as, as growth catalysts and know that every challenge out of every adversity is the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill said that. I maintain perspective under pressure. I have emotional sovereignty. If you don't know what that possibly could mean, look that up. But it's power. Everything I'm going to talk about as a controller is all about power and building yourself up so that you have this self image, this confidence that will propel you forward. Physically, adapt intelligently to challenges. Again, there's always going to be challenges. Optimize energy systems. Treat body as a high performance instrument. Physically, I adapt intelligently to challenges. I don't let them get me down. And if I do, I don't let them get me down for very long because I optimize my energy system so that I'm in control of my energy. I treat my body as a high performance instrument. And when I do that, it gives me the performance that I need to get better and better every single day. Now, some of you may say, well, I can't put those lines together like that. Well, I'm giving them to you right there. I'm giving them to you right there. And if you get my book Manipulation, I've got all these little subconscious affirmations. Get the entire hypnotic influence kit. You'll be glad you did. I mean, it's got everything there. But again, everything takes flight time and practice. I've been doing this for over 25 years. So I'm used to doing it. But if you want to get good at something, do a lot of it. I talk about the tectonic shift mastery framework. Again, these 3 shifts, you can't avoid them. And I want you, if you haven't already done it, is you really need to know where you're at with those 3 tectonic shifts. I mean, it's pretty simple to do, right? So the first, I do it. M, right? So mindset. 2 is vitality. And then 3 is prosperity. MVP. Where are you at with mindset? Grade yourself. You could use any system you want. One through 10, 1 through 5, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever. I don't care. But grade yourself with your mindset, your vitality, and your prosperity. Where are you at currently? And be honest. And come up with an idea. When you go through the C3 system, I'm going to show you how to do this using an AI system that will blow your mind, quite frankly. It's so it's so phenomenal. We just finished up the first 12-week cohort. I'm going to be opening up the next 12 weeks. And if you want in, let me know. It's still at the beta pricing, so it's the best deal going. And it'll totally change your life. 12 weeks. I teach you mental models. You're going to learn so much. It's phenomenal. But the fact of the matter is this: grade yourself. Where are you at? 1 to 10, A, B, C, D, E, F, however you want to do it, and come up with an idea of where you're at, prosperity wise, vitality wise, mindset wise. Plain and simple, but it's so important to do that, because if you don't do that, you're just going to be continuing on a pathway that's really not going to get you where you want to go. And that's not what I want for you. I don't want that for you at all. I really want you to have an understanding of what that's all about. And you'll notice that on day 6, the C3 system revealed and why it's closed. So you can sign up on this page, and you can go back through the emails to get to all these pages. What I'm going to do in the future is have a page with links to all the web pages, so you can go back to them and review them. This probably be a good idea, but I've been working on so many different projects. This took me a long time, creating all the pages, creating the images. It's just not a matter of you just do it. I mean, you have to come up with the concept, the artistic frameworks, the storylines, but that's how it works. And the C3 is no different than that. But you can get on the wait list. Just go to this page, and I'll send this page out to everyone that wants to get on the wait list. And that way, if you get on the wait list, you just put your name and email, and we'll put you on a list. And when we open back up, we'll give you an opportunity to get involved in the C3. You'll absolutely love it, as many have. So the day 7 story, what qualifies somebody for power moves access? And again, I go into fictitious masters I met, but again, everything that I'm doing is designed as a lesson for you. So as you're going through it, these are real customers and clients of mine. I've changed the names, but these are real transformations. Why did I keep it this way? Is because, again, narrative is storylines, and narratives are the most powerful form of entertainment and edutainment, right? If you want to call it that, whatever that word is. I just made it up, I think. But everything's here inside of these power moves. Power shift, what masters achieve. And again, I use this as a way for you to understand what's going on. And then I go into the Santa Monica revelation. Now, again, this is supposed to be a caricature of me when I was younger, because that's when I started doing hypnotic influence, and I did have hair, believe it or not, and I did look kind of like that. But here's the thing: is that I didn't work with Dr. Milton. I did work with several other people, but the concept is there. The concepts of what I was taught. And again, going back to that situation where you want to be able to use that identity reconstruction protocol. We all have an identity inside of ourselves that's either good or bad. And you can create multiple identities that propel you forward. For instance, you could be a very shy person and be fantastic in sales, because when you're in that sales identity, you're playing a part, you're playing a role. And a lot of this comes down to being like an actor where you're learning your lines. You're learning how to do certain things. It's as simple as that. And you put in the flight time. And I go through, this is certainly something that I went through. Who am I to charge premium prices? What if they discover I don't know everything? Maybe you're not as qualified as you think. And if this goes back to when I first started learning hypnotic influence, I had coaching clients. I was doing a lot of chi energy work. I had a lot of clients that way, a lot of students, and I started sending them my hypnotic influence things that were notes and things that I were writing down. And one of my students said to me, he goes, "Al, this is great. You should write a book. You should create a course on this." I said, "I've only been doing this like 8 or 9 months. I don't think I'm at that level yet." He's like, "Who cares?" He says, "If the information is valid and it works, and I know you're good at it, why wouldn't you do that?" And that was something, and that was coming from a student. That was something I learned many years ago, probably over 25, 20, probably is 25 years ago at this point. And the thing is this, is that's what I did. Is within probably like 13 months of my first hypnotic influence NLP classes, I created the course Manipulation. The book came a little bit later, but I created it because confidence became my natural state. Confidence is my natural state, and it can be yours as well. You see, real confidence isn't arrogance or pretending, it's the natural state that emerges when you eliminate false limitations and align with your actual capacity. Just like I taught this young man that I mentioned to you about, is he was extremely good at what he did, but he didn't have the confidence that he was as good as he was. And so we had to reframework him and create that natural state. We eliminated that false limitation. He was limiting himself. Now, what's interesting is on one side of me, he was limiting himself, but he was still progressing at a rapid race faster than most people because he probably is genius level. And when you understand how powerful your mind really is, and if you have the right tools, C3, you see, someone asked me, what's so great about C3? What's so great about getting access to the C3 system? And what it comes down to is is that C3 is the only AI execution engine that has the entire Mind Force method embedded into it. So you can learn as you go all of the nuances of the Mind Force method. Energy, meditation, hypnotic influence, attraction, prosperity, psychic energy, healing. It's all baked in, it's all built into the system. Wouldn't you want to have a system that allows you not only the progressive results to get you to where you want to be, but also learning and adapting skills that are going to help you accelerate your path to get to where you want? And that's the reality of the situation. Now, you'll notice on this page where we go into the hypnotic influence, we talk about the mind force laws right in there, is there is a direct link to my hypnotic influence training. And I believe it's discounted on this page. And you can find everything here. I mean, this is the whole thing. This is all the courses I've ever done. And they do sell every day for these prices. There's no doubt about it. And yet, I believe you can $297. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Or if you just want to try, you can get the ultimate hypnotic influence for $97. If you want to play, you got to pay. That's the bottom line. I'm giving you great information here, but there's no possible way I could teach all the nuances in a session like this. It's just not going to happen. And so the interesting thing is I'm like many of you. I go to YouTube and try to learn things, but here's what I find. I go to YouTube to learn things, but it's scattered. I want to find somebody that has it in a concise process that I can learn, because what happens is I save a lot more time than trying to find it for free in like a million different areas, even if it's the same person on YouTube channel. I remember going through a guy's YouTube channel recently, and there's like 100 or more videos on there. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't have time to watch all these videos. He said, that's the trick. He goes, I'll teach you which ones do you watch, pay me some money, and you got it. And I was like, here you go. Yes, tell me exactly how to do it. And guess what? Saved me a lot of time. And I got the results that I wanted. But that's what this is all about. And that's what you have to really embrace as you're going through it. So the controller codex, as we go through it, you're learning these controller methodologies. And then I talk about the 3M's framework: mastery versus meltdown, grace versus grievance, curiosity versus criticism. These are all models and frameworks that you can use in order to get into a place that you feel worthy, that you feel deserving, that you feel relaxed. My affirmations: I'm relaxed and control at all times. Everyone I talk to wants to get involved in business with me. I expect success every single day. These are affirmations that I've been saying so much they're just embedded in my mind. You want to have the same thing in your mind. I'm a highly confident and prosperous person. You could also interject, I'm a highly prosperous and successful salesperson. I'm a highly prosperous and successful attorney. I'm a highly prosperous and successful, you fill in the blank. That's power for you. And I've been saying these things forever. Well, maybe 30 years, 40 years, maybe 35 years on some of those. I've shown the affirmation cards. Let me see if I have them. This is always a cool thing to do, because a lot of times when I talk to people, they're like, "Yeah, right. Like you really do that. Like you really have all this stuff." And yeah, I do. Believe it or not. Let's see, passport. But let me get to the. Let me get to the. And you know what's funny, interesting is I keep all of my old IDs, so you can see me transitioning from hair to I don't know why I'm showing you all these, but my wife thinks I'm bizarre. But you know what? So be it. Anyway, here's my affirmation cards that I used to use. Now I do it digitally, but I would have these in my wallet. I had this wallet that I would carry around, and every day as I'm sitting at my desk, and this is when I worked with Bluestone Consulting. That was back in the 90s. I'm relaxed and in control at all times. I keep my thoughts pure and good and channel my energy into creative, worthwhile actions. Again, I write them down. I am bold and confident. I expect success every day. I'm a positive influence on everyone I come in contact with. I believe in the perfect outcome of every situation in my life. This is one of my favorites. My words heal, quicken, vitalize, prosper, satisfy, and make rich everyone I meet. Let's think about this one. My words heal, they heal people. My words actually heal people. They quicken, which means they energize them. They vitalize them, even more energetic. Vitality, prosperity, satisfy, and make rich Everyone I meet, my words do that. They're doing it to you right now just by focusing, listening, paying attention. You're getting the results. It's going into your subconscious mind whether you want it to or not. So it's making a change, but you are getting the change right now and you should be getting excited about that. But it's really taking it from here and continuing the process. Saying these one time is a temporary fix. But when you say them daily or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times daily, whenever I had a situation, a challenge, I said these. Everyone I talk to wants to get involved in business with me. Let's see. I attract people to me like a magnet. I am disciplined and stay focused on my goals. I don't know if I did this one already. I am relaxed and in control at all times. But there they are. These are the cards, and I keep them. I keep them in my wallet, along with my IDs from all those years ago, which is a little bit strange, right? But the fact of the matter is, and the point I'm making is that you've got to set yourself up for success, and the only way I know to do that is through training the mind to expect, and also not just expect, but to create the value. I mean, think about how many people who are extremely successful financially, they're well loved, maybe an actor, maybe a singer, maybe somebody that does something else, an athlete, and for whatever reason they don't feel happy, and they end up, you know, killing themselves or harming themselves, and it's so sad that they do things like that, and really it comes down to this fact that these tectonic shifts are out of whack. You need to learn to let go. You need to learn how to process things and understand what's important and what's not. And I hope I'm getting that across to you. I hope I'm sharing things with you that make sense. And so when I go into the Hollywood identity revelation, the syndicate files revealed, the conviction cascade, I talk about the difference between technique and identity. And again, go through these pages and really understand what I'm teaching here, because this is a master class that's done through a storyline and a narrative. If you go through the emails and you want to go through it again, you could do that, or just, unless you erase them all, go back through them. Every email has intent. Every web page has intent. Now, obviously, there's links to some of the courses that you may want to buy, and if that offends you, then just leave. I don't know what to tell you. But for those of you that want that power, it's there for you, right? And everything is here for you if you want to take advantage of it. And then I've got the signature protocol decoded. Again, every single page, and then this is the actor who was good at hypnotic influence. I met an actor that was like that. It's not this particular one, although this one's not really an actor, but if you look at this guy close enough, you can tell me who you think that is, and it is who it is, right? But that's what you're going to find when you go through this process. You're going to find it to be extremely embracing as you start to take in these processes. So you're going to get access to the Codex. Now, I think what I'll do is I'm going to probably do another video in a couple days, because I want you to take this in. And what we'll do is we'll go into the breakthroughs. And the next one is interesting because it's really where we're going to go into the energetics, the qigong, and this is where I trained with my Indonesian master. That was the first person I trained with, and I've put some interesting things on this page to make it look good. Now, when I trained in the Indonesian Pencak Silat, Kuntao, Pukulan Monday, I was I probably look a little younger here than probably I was when I first started learning. But this is where I got my start. And but sometimes when you're creating these images, they don't come out exactly the way you might want them. But I did some creative things with it to make it interesting. But the energetic side of things is really a powerful statement on how you can become more and more powerful. And we're going to cover that in the next session. So we're going to cover the second half of the 21 days. I think we covered this is probably day let's see 13 of 21. So we're about halfway through. In the next video I'll go through more. If you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. You'll have access to the controller codex. Take a look at it. But just don't take a look at it and look at it as something that I'm giving you. Look at it as a framework that you can take as a springboard to get you results that you truly desire, so that you can get the results you truly desire, because that's really what I want for you. I've enjoyed sharing this, and hopefully you've got something out of it. You've got a new perspective on the tools, on the narrative, on the conceptualization of what I wanted to create here for you, so that when you go through this process, when you go through this 21 days, that at the end of the 21 days, you should be like, man, I feel energized. I want to do chi. I want to do meditation. I want to become that. That's my hope for you, because it's been great for me, and I know it'll be great for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. So long.